In the last several years, Democrats have given many dramatic speeches about our country's norms and institutions, about the rule of law and the health of democracy. But the sad irony has been this: the same political left that shouted so loudly about norms, institutions, and the rule of law has kept trying to steamroll these principles themselves. Look at recent events at the state capitol buildings in Tennessee and Montana. Angry liberal activists in shoving matches with law enforcement, shouting down proceedings. I myself am on record as a firm critic of rioters and disrupting legislatures across the board, no matter who's doing it. Why can't the left be as consistent? And look at their side's growing hostility to the very independence of our judicial branch. A few weeks ago, when one federal judge issued a ruling with policy outcomes that Democrats didn't like, they started suggesting that politicians should just openly disobey the judge's rulings. Those suggestions are toxic and frankly anti-American. It was wrong when President Andrew Jackson tried to ignore the court way back in the 1830s. It was dead wrong when Governor Forbes defied the court on civil rights in the 1950s. And it's wrong also today when the Democratic Party brings all of that back. The attacks on the judiciary don't stop there. In 2020, our colleague, the Democratic leader, stood on the steps, the very steps of the Supreme Court, and threatened justices by name, with a whirlpool of retaliation if they failed to rule the way he wanted. Then, after top Democrats encouraged mob outrage over a leaked draft opinion, President Biden's Attorney General failed to enforce clear federal law and put a stop to illegal protests that sought to intimidate the justices at their private family homes. Recently, a number of Senate Democrats have gone so far as to propose defunding security needs for the justices and their families if Chief Justice Roberts didn't reorganize internal matters the way Democrats would prefer. So after fanning the flames of violence against an equal branch of government, Democrats now want to defund the justices' ability to protect themselves and their families if certain senators don't get their way. They're trying to turn impartial judges into partisan hostages. This is really beyond irresponsible. And then, of course, there are the desperate and never-ending attempts to smear and defame justices appointed by Republican presidents going back years and decades. Over the last few weeks, 2 justices have been particularly subjected to a carousel of character assassination. I'm sure it'll be another justice's turn again before too long. This is simply how the far left treats the rule of law. Let me just repeat that I have total confidence in Justice Gorsuch, Justice Thomas, and all 7 of their distinguished colleagues, no matter who appointed them. Just yesterday, all 9 justices explained in a statement their joint approach to maintaining their high ethical standards. Unlike the activists and elected Democrats trying to tear them down, the justices have proven their sobriety and their judicial temperament over their long and distinguished careers.